Okay.
Hamas is doing that right now. It's going to take time, but look, let's just be frank about this. October 7th was about destroying Israel. Let's be upfront, but not the way the Israelis have characterized it. You know, the non-existent slaughtering of babies, the raping of women. This didn't happen. What happened is that Israel was humiliated by Hamas, who launched an attack against Israeli military positions, Israeli strong points. And the purpose of this attack was to lure Israel into the Gaza trap. Now, this Gaza trap was going to be a bloodbath. Hamas knew this. They knew that Israel would behave as Israel is wont to behave, to slaughter civilians. And Israel has done this. And this is the genius of the Hamas plan, because the only way you get the world to turn their collective backs on Israel, as is happening today, is for Israel to expose to the world the awful truth of Israel, which is Israel is a Zionist entity that exists only at the expense of the Palestinian people, and Israel is willing to slaughter, butcher, commit genocide, starve people to death, bomb children trying to get drinking water to remain relevant. Israel has exposed itself to the world, and Israel will be defeated by this. And this is only because of the continued resistance of Hamas.
Mr. Speaker, we are acutely conscious of the fact that we are addressing an historic institution for whose creation and integrity many men and women lost their lives in the War of Independence, the Civil War, and the war against Nazism and fascism. That very history demands that we address you with respect and candor and without any attempt to dissemble. What we have said concerning the political arrangements we seek for our country is seriously meant. It is an outcome for which many of us went to prison, for which many have died in police cells, on the gallows, in our towns and villages, and in the countries of Southern Africa. Indeed, we have even had our political representatives killed in countries as far away from South Africa as France. Unhappily, our people continue to die to this day, victims of armed agents of the state who are still determined to turn their guns against the very idea of a non-racial democracy. But this is the perspective which we trust Congress will feel happy to support and encourage, using the enormous weight of its prestige and authority as an eminent representative of democratic practice. To deny any person their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. To impose on them a wretched life of hunger and deprivation is to dehumanize them. But such has been the terrible fate of all black persons in our country under the system of apartheid. The extent of the deprivation of millions of people has to be seen to be believed.
Fellow Ambazonians, our patriots, nationalists, liberators of our land, and lovers of freedom, human rights, dignity, and the building of a thriving nation and a progressive and inclusive society. On Manipulates Day. The last 2 weeks have demonstrated who is fully in charge of Ambazonia. The Ambazonian people have demonstrated to the international community and to the occupier itself as to who is in charge, as to who is in control, as to who is the authority of the land. That is what we've proven and demonstrated not only to Cameroon, even to France, and all those that have supported Cameroon's genocide on the Ambazonian people. Ambazonia is now in charge. The strategies the Ambazonia Governing Council put in place, the plan the Ambazonia Governing Council designed, the roadmap the Ambazonia Governing Council created, coupled with self-defense and collective resistance, has defeated and crumbled not only the occupation system, but Cameroon itself. Every single Cameroon opposition leader has now come to that reality. The status quo no longer exists. Ambazonia has emerged. They have actually acknowledged that the state of Cameroon cannot survive economically without Ambazonia. Over the weekend, after 1 week of the first week of a successful collective rejection of the occupation system, a collective demonstration of our collective will, our defiance, the Ambazonian people instituted a lockdown. After 1 week of a successful lockdown, during that first week, Ambazonian forces carried out some of the most dangerous and deadly strikes on the occupier. The bees are paying a huge price. Ambazonian forces are holding Cameroon bees accountable for their crimes on our people. So after that successful first week of the lockdown, Mr. Biya couldn't sleep, Diongute couldn't sleep, Ngongo couldn't sleep. Ngongo had to call for an emergency crisis meeting in Yaoundé. The two colonial governors, Okala Bilai and Lele Lafrique, were summoned. Senior colonial divisional officers were summoned. And senior Other senior colonial administrators in the occupied territory were all summoned to Yaoundé. Top CPDM colonial elites were also summoned. There was a clash during that crisis meeting between the colonial administrators and CPDM elites that intended to go to the Ambazonia territory for the colonial presidential election campaign and propaganda. There was a clash between the military and colonial CPDM elites. They started fighting themselves. They started arguing. They started exchanging blames. They are all coming to the realization that they have lost control. Everyone in Cameroon has come to the realization that the occupation is over. They know it. So, for most Ambazonians, when you hear about Diongute going to Bamenda, it is because they've lost it. And now the colonial prime minister has no choice than to be forced to go for a propaganda tour to try to shore up those that are still there, to try to shore up their international partners, that they still have some semblance of control. They don't have any control. It's a political, this is all the political game on you and in media. Behind closed doors, they all live in fear and in panic. As we told the Ambazonian people and Camerooners last week, the more things become more visible to everybody, the more they realize that they have lost complete control and they've lost the territory because they've lost the war. Atanganji will commit suicide. Diongute will commit suicide. Some of those top colonial CPDM elites that have relied upon the CPDM party and Mr. Biya for their fame and survival will pack their bags, pack their families, and they will all escape or they will commit suicide. It's coming. You all should be ready for this. The end is here, Ambazonia. The end of Cameroon's occupation is here. You've paid a huge price to achieve these victories. We have paid enormous price in blood, in pain, in suffering, in destruction. To get here. We have paid an enormous price. Things have paid off. Things have paid off. Your sacrifices have paid off. Your suffering, the torture you've gone through, the starvation you've gone through, the deprivation you've gone through, all those collective efforts and sacrifices have culminated to propel us to receive the gift of freedom. Without those sacrifices, there would have been no Ambazonia. Let me repeat Without those sacrifices, there would have been no Ambazonia. The Americans paid the same price. The Canadians paid the same price. Even the Norwegians, they paid the same price. Finland paid the price. Denmark paid the price. France paid the price. Even the Singaporeans, they paid the price. Every nation that now has freedom, where the people are free, they have full rights, good institutions, open societies, thriving societies, where humanity in those societies is thriving, where the human spirit is flourishing, where there is space for God to express himself, herself, where Mother Earth or Mother Universe, it's expressing herself in innovations, in new ideas, in new breakthroughs. And there is limitless abundance and opportunities being created. The goal of the occupier, the purpose of occupation, is to suppress humanity in the people. It is to suppress life, to suppress creativity, to suppress intelligence. The purpose of the liberation is so that we can break free. It's so that we can break through. It was a necessary journey to save the humanity of the Ambazonian people. Self-defense was required to break through fear. And reclaim our reawakening. We were dead inside. Physically, we existed. In spirit, we were dead. Self-defense was to break through the fear, break through the limitations, and reignite and reawaken the dormant life that has been suppressed for decades. Even Gongo and all those CPDM colonial elites, they've all agreed during that crisis meeting with President Gongo that they must negotiate with the Ambazonian people to bring this conflict to an end. This was just last weekend. That's like 3 days ago. They've all agreed that their military strategy has failed and things can't go on like this. They are now rushing to look at how they can engage and get the international community to speed up the process. You have achieved your freedom. You have it now, Ambazonians. It's over for Cameroon. Economically, it's over. Politically, look at what's happening. When was the last time Cameroon opposition leaders can be bold to now start talking about, listen, for us to salvage the situation, we have to go back to and talk about the foundation of the two states coming together. That is evidence. Those are evidences of your victory. When the enemy start acknowledging they've lost and they have to do something quick to stitch the past together. You can't stitch the past anymore. It no longer exists. The future has been created. Ambazonia has emerged. This is not 2016. More than 70,000 have laid their lives for Ambazonia to be free. Ivo laid his life. Efang laid his life. No Pity laid his life. Aroke laid his life. Cross and others, Agaba, and all the commanders and generals and soldiers and fighters across the territory, they laid their lives to get you to this point. You are here. And this is why we're speaking to you today. Let me adjust myself. This is the moment the Ambazonia Governing Council is calling on the Ambazonian people to start preparations for a transition government and for self-governance. The Ambazonia Governing Council is calling on all Ambazonians to start the process for a transition authority. Don't wait. You'll be taken by surprise. Things are moving faster. We can't put them outside. No one is going to make a statement until the appropriate time. Start preparations now. All the various movements, all the various organizations, all the various liberation institutions, people should get to work. Our legal experts should get to work. Our technocrats should get to work. Don't wait until the day they tell you Cameroon is packing out. Don't wait until the day they tell you they are moving leaders to location XXX. They are moving leaders to London. They are moving leaders to Berlin, to Ottawa, or to Washington, D.C., or to Geneva for final negotiations. Take what we say very seriously. You listen to the Vice President spoke 2 days ago. Take what we say very seriously. Start to lay the foundation for your nation, for your country, and start to imagine and conceptualize the kind of government, the kind of an all-inclusive transition government you want to create. It will be an all-inclusive transition government. That is the promise Dr. Cho has made to the Ambazonian people. It will not be the Ambazonia Governing Council dictating It will not be Siseko Ayoktabe's IG claiming to lead the transition authority. It will not be the ADF imposing, or the fighters imposing their will as to who will govern Ambazonia. It will be a collective process. So too will be the negotiations. It will be a collective process. We want everybody to be involved. From civil societies to our traditional institutions. Women's group, women's movements, every segment of our society will be involved. Refugees will be involved. The prisoners of war will be involved. Our activists and spokespersons, our advocates, defense organizations, the armed groups, and their representatives across the 13 states, everyone will be involved in shaping that transition authority for an all-inclusive transition government. In that way, as the leader has said, we must ensure a stable and peaceful Ambazonia. When people are left out, when groups are left out, the occupier and its sponsors will use those groups to create instability in a post-independence Ambazonia. When people are included and they feel they are part of something larger, where their own political ambitions and goals and objectives through the collective consensus can be met. That is the society we want to create. This is the Ambazonia we want to build. During the transition authority period, all movements will be transformed to political parties. The United Nations, African Union, and international institutions will help the Ambazonian people forge a political path and create the way for democratic elections for Ambazonians to elect members of our parliament, members of our councils, the United Nations, African Union, and other international institutions will help the Ambazonian people create the Ambazonia Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This is the time for all Ambazonians to get on board. Come in and support the efforts, the legal efforts, the lobbying efforts, the humanitarian efforts. Allow self-defense to masters of self-defense. Our fellow people then. Our fellow people then. What will be the fight for? We don't already get them. I not be a prophet. Yes, I be a prophet. I don't predict. Most of the things that happen now, I don't already tell a long time ago, right? I'll be an analyst. And all the things that will be the fight for, the reason why we will fight, the purpose we will fight, the sacrifices where you don't make them, where your leaders, they call you, make them. It will be important. If we not be make those sacrifices, we'll not forever get to this place. If people do not be come out for September 22nd, we'll not forget to this place. Even though for that same day for September 22nd, about 481 Ambazonians, they will be killed. But if we not be take those steps, we'll not forget to this place. Some of them are refugees. Some they end up in prison. Thousands they die. Without all of those things, we not forget to this place. If man will not be arrested, we'll not forget to this place. If Pen not be arrested, we'll not forget to this place. If Weber not be stand for inside that parliament and challenge the devil, we'll not forget for this place. If La Republique not for show ugliness, if La Republique not for show their true color, if La Republique not for carry out all this terrorism, all these killings, all this torture, all these massacres, we'll not forget for this place. So sometimes we need to understand how life will work. Sometimes it need to come easy, but now all part of the process. The Americans, they go through the same thing. The Canadians, they go through the same thing. Even the French, they go through the same thing. The Norwegians, they go through the same thing. Even the people then for Finland and Sweden. The South Africa, they go through the same process. No people for this world, including the people then for Singapore. The people then for Lee Kuan Yew country. Mandela go for jail for how many years? If enough for go for jail, take those actions. Carry out self-defense. Carry out economic sabotage. The occupier, the apartheid, racist apartheid system for South Africa, enough for feel the pain and the pressure, not for mount from the international community. So, what people then? That price we don't pay them. It don't produce the results. I know some of them are the wait now until they deal with the blow whistle. Brrr, La Republique the pack out before we go understand say we do already defeat La Republique. Because for you the only see now what you want to see. And what you see now when Diongute come from Ambazonia, or when you say they don't go carry out their elections to some place, and when one of their politicians they don't carry go for some place. Now all that way you see all those one are propaganda. The things that we need to see now how the occupier system not function again. Now how the occupier don't be divided. Now how the occupier now get opposition inside their own country. With the opposition parties and now they tell the occupiers, say, see, when I live with that story, says special status, that it don't die, it don't work. When I forget grand national dialogue, it don't work. When I forget disarmament, it don't work. Una forget Didi and Reno work. We must enter negotiation table. Because if we not do one, we go lost Ambazonia. Cameroon not fit survive with Ambazonia. Now they can't tell you who ha. They need to tell you because they like you. They tell you the reality. And that reality, Mr. Biad also know that reality. Ngongo know that reality. But the thing where it make the North openly, just can't say, okay, more go for negotiations. Now, because every occupier, it build an image. See, they be invincible. You not be ever know, say, this time will come. Where Mr. Biano show a face for outside. They not be know, say, this time will come where Ambazonian people then, without any education, with their bare hands, they did not touch the bead like flies. Like what happened for the other day for between Malende and Kumba area there. When I see video every day across the 13 states, they just pop them, like popcorn for microwave. They don't finish. Now, all the price we don't pay them, all the suffering we don't go through, therefore bring you for this place. Therefore bring you for this place of victory and pride. When I take way to the tell very seriously. The end for Cameroon don't come. No wait until the day when the international community can blow whistle. We get for start now. We call on all Ambazonians, the nationalists and the patriots on ground zero, from Mami them and Papa them, from Uncle them and Auntie them. We start for organize ourselves for which they come. Okay? Preparations for lay the groundwork for the transition government, for self-governance. Now that power they come back to the Ambazonian people then. And what will be that transition government? That transition government, it go include everybody. We no one make Ambazonia, we no one make this side or this rebel group, it fight this group, and then some other rebel group, it one can fight the new Ambazonia transition government. The occupier now go that. Because once you defeat the occupier, the goal of the occupier now for give you trouble from the day we gain independence. Now for punish you. So they go create terrorism. If we not bring all our people them together, they go use the one way we push them aside. They go use them for start a new war. Dr. Cho, a vision and a plan we don't put them in place. Now a plan we include everybody. Because now collective sacrifice, now collective effort, that plan must include everybody. The refugees, they will be involved. The refugees, they will be involved. The prisoners of war, they will be involved. The leaders of the various self-defense groups and their representatives, all of them will be involved. We're activists, spokespeople, advocates, and activists. All men will be involved. The political movement and the political leadership, they will be involved. We're civil society organization, organization then for women, human rights groups them, they will be involved. Lawyers groups them, they will be involved. All civil society organizations on Ambazonia, they will be involved. Especially women's groups for defend the rights of an Ambazonian woman and for be part of the process for make an Ambazonian woman the centerpiece, for be at the heart of the discussion of the future Ambazonian state and the transition of government. So that they will be part of the political process for create a system when a men and women they must govern the country. Men and women they must govern the country because most men they be more corrupt than women. I mean, it not really be based on any scientific data, not just my opinion. So we got to create a society, a system where we're women them, we're mommy them, we're girls them, we're sister them, we're auntie them. They be part of the system for build that system will be fair, it be just, and it be inclusive. That transition authority, now all we now will come choose all the movements. Now all we now go can choose the leader. We can choose now one leader. We now all we go agree through vote. Say that this leader now ye go lead the transition authority for 2 years. Now he go lead the transition authority for 3 years. Now he go lead the transition authority for 4 years. And when he lead that transition authority, that leader no go participate for any other, he no go participate for the general future election. For create an even playing field. For they now, the United Nations, African Union, they go help our people them now create the Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The time don't reach for the Ambazonia Governing Council back control my mouth. The time don't reach for the Ambazonia Governing Council for continue the consultation with all other movements, for start envisioning the transition authority and bring our legal experts in, for start for the framework for an Ambazonian transition authority. Other things they already start in the background. But those things, the vice president, he go can announce them at the appropriate time. The international community, he go can announce them at the appropriate time. For right now, when I live and make the work where the leader they do, the work where Dr. Cho they do, the big diplomacy they take place back and forth. When I leave those things, make at the appropriate time, they can announce them. At this moment, Cameroon day on a very delicate time. So no movement. You don't know what you go up on Cameroon. So there is uncertainty for Cameroon. So this period of uncertainty go for pass first. So we will be very patient. But we need to start the work so that we not go be, they not go take we unaware. Your future already there. You must take them. You must catch them. You must hold them. That's why the leader talks say, hold the line. We know what it already happened. We know what it did on the table already. So hold the line. We not continue for fund the forces. It be critical. We not continue for contribute for lobbying efforts. It be critical. Now the time this will go for do more diplomacy, we need more money for move people them around, for bring people them on board. Now the time this where the big work don't start. Because the fighting, we don't do 90% of the fighting. Now the conclusion part, now it be very delicate. And at this moment, when I realize I say, now when Hamas and the Israeli government, they want to start negotiation and they start negotiations, now that time you see say they don't kill this Hamas leader. Now that time you see say they don't target the leader for that kind of side. During this period, we want to be very careful and we want to be very watchful. The occupier would try for weaken side. So that's why we need to see certain things already happen, like the arrest of Benedictwa and Pascal Kiki for United States. Now, because the process don't start. They be politically motivated because the process don't start. Now pay attention. Not take these things for granted. The process don't start. The process for your freedom don't start. The process for your independence don't start. The process for your liberation don't start. We must take these things very seriously. Your future don't come. Hold the future, hold the line, and continue for make contributions, for lobbying, for legal, for humanitarian purposes, and then we support the armed resistance campaign so that we continue for keep the ground strong and continue for put a strong and stable posture. We thank you plenty for the time when I don't give him more to get this discussion for now. Your independence, the time for your independence, it don't come. And I take this message very serious. As you already know, La République, the bond itself. Every day when I woke up, when I see something happen for La République. As Mr. Paul Biya, it days they don't reach, they bond their own country. For Douala Seaport, people the one woke up 2 days ago, 65 more to them. They burn them all for ground. Una watch. We cut cafe for people them for Coupe, for Ndian, for Lebialen. What people them from Donga, will not forget una. What people them from Menchum, what people them from Mezam, the Ambazonian resistance capital. Abakwa people them. What Baminda people them, will not forget una. What people from Momo, stubborn people them, will not forget una. We see the work when I do. What people for Boyo, aye, Boyo the jam la Republique. What people for Bui, the strongest, and people where they get the most resistance and defiant spirit. The warriors of Nso. What people for Bui, una place they up. What people for Donga, yes. I mean, what people for Ngoketunjia, una they do a great work. Una they do a great work. The Marine Forces of Bambalan, General No Pity Forces, we see the great work we do. All money place there. We'll talk on tomorrow. AC and we talk on plenty. Ambazonia.
Mr. Speaker, we are acutely conscious of the fact that we are addressing an historic institution for whose creation and integrity many men and women lost their lives in the War of Independence, the Civil War, and the war against Nazism and fascism. That very history demands that we address you with respect and candor and without any attempt to dissemble. What we have said concerning the political arrangements we seek for our country is seriously meant. It is an outcome for which many of us went to prison, for which many have died in police cells, on the gallows, in our towns and villages, and in the countries of Southern Africa. Indeed, we have even had our political representatives killed in countries as far away from South Africa as France. Unhappily, our people continue to die to this day, victims of armed agents of the state who are still determined to turn their guns against the very idea of a non-racial democracy. But this is the perspective which we trust Congress will feel happy to support and encourage, using the enormous weight of its prestige and authority as an eminent representative of democratic practice. To deny any person their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. To impose on them a wretched life of hunger and deprivation is to dehumanize them. But such has been the terrible fate of all black persons in our country under the system of apartheid. The extent of the deprivation of millions of people has to be seen to be believed.